Welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today, I'm going to give you guys a quick crypto update. I'm also going to talk about Shiba Inu and what's going on with Bad Idea. And I'm also going to talk about a prophetic dream that I had relating to placing stop loss orders. I'm also going to discuss the Democrats' win that kind of swept this country in several different places and how that's affecting the Democrats and how that could affect cryptocurrency. Now, first of all, I'm not a financial advisor, and if you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and also the comment section. Right, so Bitcoin is currently sitting at $103,904, Ethereum at $3,400, XRP at $2.35, Dogecoin at almost 17 cents, XLM at approximately 28 cents. Shiba Inu sitting at 509164. Now, we had a major pullback, and that was actually predicted by some of the chart readers that I have shared with you folks. And that's one of the reasons why I have shared those with you and gave you the links to follow their channel so you can try to follow with what they're doing. Plus, it's a learning tool to help you learn how to trade. Some of you guys are watching too many dreams about, the crypto markets. You got to hear about Shiba Inu dreams almost every day when you don't even know how to trade. All you know how to do is buy and sell, and that's it. And you won't even go support the project that you're invested in. And just let me share this. Out of the people that are listening to me right now, and the people that might be in the wealth transfer group that you know, and they're always watching the Shiba Inu dream videos, how many tweets in the last month or in the last 6 months have you liked from the Shiba Inu project? Just liked their post on Twitter. Right? Just from that alone tells you that you're not really truly invested in the projects that you are in. And that's why I tell you that you need to subscribe to their social media to help spread the information about cryptocurrency and the tokens that you're invested in. Everybody's waiting for Bitcoin to reach its top, but yet I was criticized for talking to y'all about buying Bitcoin when it was at 25,000. And then when it was around 80,000, I got criticized again for talking about, hey, folks, we need to be buying Bitcoin. If we're expecting Bitcoin to reach this level, we need to make it part of our portfolio. But the wealth transfer community is focused on meme coins and investing in a whole bunch of different coins that have a whole bunch of zeros. And that won't help you unless you get Bitcoin to where it's supposed to be at. But you know what? We're beyond that. And, I brought that up a long time ago. And if the wealth transfer community didn't want to get on board of that, well, that's on them. And so don't complain about Bitcoin. If you're not buying Bitcoin, don't complain about the price of Bitcoin, because you guys are relying too much on the rich people to do everything for you. You're relying on God just to hand it to you on a silver platter. Now, when it comes to this major pullback, there was some news that came out on the 31st, and it was Bitcoin ETFs bleed 490 million as BlackRock faces fraud scandal. So you have now that going on, and that contributed to what was going on in the markets. Now, according to the chart readers that I follow, they already said from days to weeks ago that there's going to be another dip that's going to go down, test 100,000, or even go down to 98,000. And guess what? That's exactly what Bitcoin did. On some exchanges, it went to 99,000. On others, it went to 98,000. Right? But it's just weird that there's always some kind of negative news that is associated with these pullbacks, as if these announcements are always timed. And we already know about BlackRock, and, we used to call them so evil. But you know what, though? If it wasn't for BlackRock and pushing for these ETFs and getting involved in crypto, Bitcoin and crypto wouldn't be where it's at today. Then there's this article here that came out a couple days before that article. It says BlackRock, only thing keeping Bitcoin ETFs afloat, report suggests. So this was brought up last year when Biden was still in, and there were some influencers that were saying, that cryptocurrency wouldn't be where it was at if it wasn't for BlackRock. And if it wasn't for institutional buying, it would not be where it's at. If you guys aren't buying Bitcoin, then who else is going to keep it up? Who else is going to keep up Bitcoin? So despite a lot of the things that BlackRock has done over the years with housing and manipulating the markets, controlling the politicians and so on, They're the only ones that's really putting pressure on politicians and getting those ETFs approved. Now let's talk a little bit about Shiba Inu. Many of you know that the Shibarium system was hacked. And people need to understand that Shibarium, if anything happens to Shibarium, it affects SHIB. Shiba Inu is not a standalone coin. And I almost wish that it was, and that it wasn't tied to Shibarium. Right? Because anytime Shibarium has an issue, it affects Shiba Inu. And you guys remember in 2022, it was all about Shibarium. And when Shibarium wasn't launched on time, guess what? Shiba Inu dropped. Right? And over the last couple of years, we've seen the focus taken off of Shibarium and focused on other coins that will be associated with Shibarium, but they're not part of the Shibarium ecosystem. It currently has 509163. It looks pretty good to invest in right now. And there's probably a pretty good opportunity to make some money in the short term, because I do believe, according to what the chart readers say, that we could see Bitcoin go up to 112 or even 116,000 before the next pullback. Now, here pretty soon, we are expecting ETFs. You know, that's one of the things we've been waiting for. You know, it's funny because I see like these prophets and these people getting on YouTube and they're like, oh, Shiba Inu is going to make its run in October because it's prophesied. You know, but they didn't even know what was going on with Shibarium getting hacked and how it affected other tokens. And then you still have the issue with Leash, right, which is part of the Shibarium ecosystem. People need to understand that Shibarium is comprised of Shiba Inu, Bone, Doge Killer, Shi, and Treat. And if something happens to another token, it affects all of the tokens. The Doge Killer Leash right now, sitting at 1 cent. This was a token that was $8,000. And because of the issues with that, it has dropped significantly. And that affects the entire ecosystem. Again, Shiba Inu is not a standalone coin. And this is the issue with Leash. They only had like a circulating supply of like 100,000 and something tokens. And now there's 220 million tokens. And they're supposed to, according to the Shiba Inu Twitter page, the Shibarium page, that they're supposed to upgrade to version 2. Now, I've talked about this in the past, but they're still working on this. This has been an issue for like 3 months now, and they still haven't fixed it. But yet Shiba Inu is getting ready to take off. They just finished fixing Shibarium. A couple weeks ago, they got everything together, but Shiba Inu was supposed to take off. Now, what happened with the Democrats winning key elections, governorships, and taking seats in state legislators, and I'm going to share this, that because of the media and the firestorm that the Democrats are continually throwing at the American people, and if you repeat lies long enough, or even if it's the truth, you keep repeating it over and over again, people are going to start thinking, okay, maybe I did make a mistake. Trump's ratings are down right now. A lot of people that did vote for him are not happy with his progress. And I'm definitely not happy with a lot of the things that have progressed. We didn't see the Epstein stuff. The crypto stuff was delayed. All the ETFs were delayed. The XRP case was delayed, 7-8 months? Right? And the focus of the Trump administration is it's all about Bitcoin, you know, and most people that are involved in cryptocurrency that are trying to change their lives don't care about Bitcoin. With all the negative press and the government shutdown, it is making the Republicans look really bad right now. All the people that voted for Trump in Virginia flipped. Same in New Jersey and other places. And everybody knows that Trump only has 3 more years, and he's got about a year to get Congress on board to implement a lot of the things that we are hoping to see. Instead, we just might have 3 more years of stagnation if they don't do what they said that they were going to do. Now, in this post from Coin Bureau, it says here, Democrats' latest election wins could stall Trump's pro-crypto push. Republicans now face stronger resistance in Congress as more Democrats push for tighter crypto oversight. Analysts warn the crypto structure market bill may now face delays. And so now we have another crypto bill that should have already been passed 6 months ago. Right now, we're waiting on that. It's just delay after delay after delay. And if the Democrats feel emboldened, the ones who did support it may not support it now. They may just hold out because you know what? They know that a lot of crypto investors voted for Trump. And knowing that, they could use that to their advantage by stalling the crypto markets, by not letting this bill pass. I don't even know. I don't think there's even a vote on this bill coming up. And yet it'll be the excuse of why the markets aren't moving. Okay. And then we still haven't seen the ETFs. The ETFs should have been done 6 months ago. But the sentiment is against Trump right now. Now, I think Trump is not going in the right direction. And I also think that he does not have the people around him that are helping him make the better decisions. They're making him look like a fool. All these things are having a negative effect. The food stamp crisis, right? We all know that people abuse the system. But like when you saw what happened in Virginia, right? Republicans didn't win. Well, guess what? There are over 800,000 people in Virginia on SNAP benefits. You don't think that they were not motivated to vote when their SNAP benefits didn't come through, regardless of what you think? Of course it had an effect on the election. Democrats take the governorship. That means that people are not happy with the president of the United States. And so I think you saw a lot of people that were on SNAP that were motivated to go out and vote against Republicans. So the lockdown couldn't have came at a worse time right around these elections. So if things continue to go down this way and Trump doesn't do what he's supposed to do when it comes to supposedly the Epstein files and arresting the people in the Democratic Party that act blue and all the corruption and all that, if that does not happen, they're going to end up taking more ground in the midterms of 2026. Now, one last thing that I do want to talk about is stop losses. And I had this prophetic dream on October the 19th of 2025. And I already know that we were expecting a drop in the markets, but I had a dream about placing stop losses. And this is very short, it's very quick. And I said, and this is what I posted in the Telegram. I just remembered now that I had a dream last night that I was placing stop losses for all my cryptos, but I couldn't remember what price of BTC was. I don't think it was the top, but it was higher than what it was. So I did place some stop loss orders, and I placed more after. So I did place some stop loss orders. Some of those orders triggered, some of them didn't, but then cryptocurrency went back up. I placed some more stop losses, and guess what? Then we had the major pullback. And so people need to understand, like, you may not be a swing trader, but you can at least, and I think this is why I shared this dream, why God gave it to me, not just for me, but if you're not going to learn how to swing trade, at least learn how to place stop loss orders, right? Because just imagine, when crypto does take off and you're at new all-time highs and you're worried about whether or not if you should take profit because you don't know if it's going to go back down. You don't know if the altcoin season is going to be over with. You can place stop loss orders. So on the 27th, XRP was sitting at $2.68. So if you wanted to place a safe stop loss, $2.50 would have been a safe stop loss. Because guess what? It went down to all the way down to $2.08. Yeah, it actually went down all the way to $2, and like on some exchanges, it was 6 cents or 7 cents or 8 cents. So you could have saved some of your investment, turned around and bought some more XRP in this major pullback. And I think we're getting ready to experience another major pullback once Bitcoin gets back up to 112 and testing 116,000. Right. So all you have to do is just go into Google and type in how stop loss orders work. Right. It'll go over everything. So if you see a certain crypto at a certain price and you say, you know what, if it drops by 75 cents, say for instance, like Chainlink was around, I don't know, it was like around $18 and some change. I put in a stop loss at $18 and it went all the way down to $15. All right. So I was able to go back in and buy some more Chainlink with the profits that I had with that. Right. So you need to learn, read, type in how to place stop loss orders for cryptocurrency, like on Coinbase or whatever the case. right? So then that way you can save your investment. And one of the reasons why crypto is where it's at, folks, this is why there was a warning about leveraging, because people are getting wiped out on both ends, the shorts and the longs. And there's not enough money to keep crypto going because they're manipulating the markets to wipe everybody out. And this is a shakeout, because I've been hearing that consistently for 3 years now. No, it's not a shakeout. They are targeting people who are leveraging. That's exactly what they're doing. And so much money has been lost in leveraging, they don't have any money anymore. People are running out of money to leverage. So this is one way that you can save your investment and potentially, go in and buy back more, but also in the long term to protect your investment. So I just wanted to bring that up because I dreamt about it, and I think that's important enough to share on this channel. All right, folks, so that is all that I have for this today. We just wait and see what happens with Bitcoin. I'm looking for it to go up to 112,000 and test the 116,000 mark, and then we'll see what happens with the crypto ETFs. I thank you guys for listening. God bless.